Design number 12. A symmetrical country house. A floor plan from the 1850s. This design was prepared and executed for Mr. W. L. Findlay in the vicinity of Newburgh, with the exception of the ventilating turret, which was a suggestion made by me at the time the building was erected. This prominent feature has not, however, yet been carried into execution. Still, it really forms an integral part of the design, and as the composition would seem to be somewhat unfairly represented without it, it is introduced in the sketch. It can be added at any time for $70 or $80. There were some special requirements made by the proprietor in this instance that are, perhaps, with some readers, calculated to give additional interest to this plan. The house during the summer months was to be, to all intents and purposes, a southern house. Ample circulation of air was to be provided, with plenty of veranda space. And a cool, open arrangement of rooms was especially asked for, as the house would be required to accommodate agreeably many residents and visitors during the hot weather. On the other hand, the plan was to be so arranged that during the colder part of the year the house should be suited to the changed needs of its fewer inmates, for it was the intention of Mr. Findlay to occupy his residence all the year round. A completely fitted up and somewhat decorative principal floor was also a point of importance with the proprietor, who did not propose to expend any large amount on his house, and whose instructions were for rooms of but moderate size, and for a basement kitchen, so as to avoid the extra expense of a kitchen wing. In the plan it will be observed that a brick porch, connecting two verandas, and forming with them one continuous piazza, opens onto the principal hall, which is 14 feet by 18 feet. This hall communicates, by sliding doors, with the drawing room on one side, and the dining room on the other. Each of these rooms has a bay window at the end opposite the hall entrance, and thus, when the doors are thrown open in summer, an agreeable vista effect is produced, and a free circulation of air is provided for. The upper end of the hall is traversed by a light, ornamental, open, arched screen, which is introduced so as to give a definite character to a passageway, or vestibule, as shown on the plan. Beyond this arched screen is an entrance, with sliding doors, to the library, and at the opposite end of the latter room is a large square bay window, with open screen work and seat in connection with it. Thus another extensive vista is obtained in summer evenings through the house in this direction, and when the doors are open, anyone sitting in the library bay can see the river view framed, as it were, in the outer arch of the porch. A little boudoir, or ladies' morning room, with a private veranda entirely shaded during the whole of the forenoon, is planned close to this library and to the drawing room, and a similar space is enclosed on the opposite side of the house for water closet and pantry, which has a lift in connection with the floor below. It will thus be seen, by an inspection of the plan, that it would hardly be possible to have a more airy and open arrangement for summer. For, standing in the hall when the rooms are thrown open, one can see clear through the house, north, south, east, and west. And the porch, hall, vestibule, library, dining room, drawing room, and veranda are converted, as it were, into one connected apartment. All idea of the moderate size of the single rooms, the largest of which is but 18 feet by 20 feet, is thus done away with, and the house necessarily seems roomy, open, and ample in its accommodation. So much for the summer arrangement. In winter, on the other hand, the first step should be to enclose the arches of the porch with glazed frames, and the next to close the sliding doors for the season, entering in future each of the separate rooms from the ordinary sized doors which are provided to each of the principal apartments for this purpose, the library being approached through a bookcase door. The furnace may then be started, and the house will be found to be a warm winter house, suited to a severe climate. All the thorough drafts are shut off, and the separate rooms are small, readily warmed, and easy of access from the chambers. The bedroom floor in this house contains an upper hall, lighted by a skylight, 4 full-sized bedrooms, a dressing room, and a bathroom with water closet. The attic contains 2 spare bedrooms, shut off entirely from the apartments for domestics on the same floor, and it also provides an open hall, 2 servants' bedrooms, a garret, and lumber room. In the basement will be found the kitchen, washroom, milk room, furnace room, and cellars. The carpenter's and mason's contracts for this house were taken at $7,230, and the painter's, and plumber's, and decorator's accounts, with some ornamental ceilings, and other carpenter's work inside the house, not contemplated in the original contract, made the amount expended, and on which 5% architect's commission was charged, $9,326. The stable, which contained accommodation for 3 horses, a coach house, a harness room, a coachman's living room, with bedroom over, and a hayloft in the roof, was built of brick for $1,700.